You know that feeling when the plumber is late, the budget is tight, and you feel the timeline slipping by the hour? That was me. It was in one of our flips, and I was on the front porch, phone in hand, trying not to get annoyed. And then my husband said something that has really stuck with me ever since. But if you're new here, hi, I'm Sabrina and I'm failing forward in real estate to build a more durable life. And in this video, I want to share a short story that changed my perspective on contractors and the kind of investor that I want to be. So let's set the stage. Okay, so we're outside of one of our flips eating lunch because inside was a construction zone, dust everywhere, big power tools. And so we were outside on the front porch. I had just run out to a local Chinese restaurant and grabbed some food for me and my husband and our two friends who were helping us with the remodel. So time keeps going by, and eventually the plumber and the guy who helps him out showed up. They came in, they waved, they said, enjoy your lunch, and they went on to the basement to do the work. And as we were finishing up, my husband said to me, man, I wish we would have bought lunch for them too. To which I said, it's their responsibility to eat, and they're already late. Yeah, that's what I said. So the plumbers were there all day. We actually were updating all the plumbing in the house. And so they were down there working, taking out the old stuff and installing the new things. And eventually they just had to call a timeout because their tanks were empty. They needed to run out to go get some food. And again, my husband said, I know what that's like. One job goes late, and so then that makes you late for the second job. And so then you skip lunch so that you can try to get there as best as you can. And it's just hard. And it's really great when someone, like when the client or the owner, thinks about you or does something small for you. And it struck me because he's speaking from direct experience, right? My husband is a painting and drywall contractor. And so he was really reflecting on some things that he has dealt with on a day-to-day basis. And, we were in this unique position of finally actually being, the client, the owners, the investors. And he was really reflecting on wanting to be the kind of client owner that he would like to work with. But in that moment, I realized that I was being that investor, the one focused on budgets, timelines, logistics, not the human side. And I don't know, I don't know that that's the business that I want to have. But I don't want this to be misunderstood. Of course, we must keep the budget and the timeline and the process at the forefront of our minds. And certainly all of us have heard there is certainly truth in good contractors are hard to find, right? It's one of the biggest hurdles when you first get started. How do I find good contractors? How do I vet contractors? And everyone either has or has heard a horror story about a contractor who ripped them off, started work that they didn't finish, or who did poor quality work. But here's the truth. Good clients are also hard to find. Clients can be unreasonable, inflexible, overtly demanding. And so I really want to be the kind of person, the kind of investor or owner that people want to work with. Someone who makes a really long day at work just feel a little bit easier. Because here's the truth. That plumber was amazing. He was investor friendly, he did really good work, and he was really flexible when the inspector came when we had to go through the permitting process. If I buy a house in that area again, he's going to be the first person that I call. So this wasn't a situation of trying to manage bad contractors. Now, I can already hear some people saying, because I even heard it from a presentation at a local real estate meetup from one of the big flippers in the area, don't give contractors like extras or bonuses, because it sets bad expectations. They're going to start thinking that, oh, they get something extra each time. And again, I don't mean this to say that we are going to do something that sacrifices our business. Never, never sacrifice profitability or effectiveness in your business. But kindness is not the same as chaos. And we can set boundaries and expectations and have clear plans for our profit margins while recognizing the humanity and the good work of the contractors who we're partnering with. So no, I didn't buy lunch that day, but I did learn an important lesson, that business runs on relationships. And so I think the next time that I do have a project, like, I'm gonna put it in the budget for some sandwiches or burgers to just show a level of appreciation for good work and partnership. It seems like a small price to pay to be the kind of investor that people want to work with again and again. But I don't know. Am I being too soft? Like, do you agree? Let me know in the comments. And if you're interested to see where this flip falls in my whole journey thus far, you might be interested in watching this video next. I'll see you in the next one.